So here we have it, my friends, the first footage of the final version that we are going to have in a couple of weeks. Why do I say this? Because yesterday's TikTok live stream was a bit of a surprise, and a lot of those things have been answered. Now, I won't go through this entire 1 hour of live stream. I'm gonna, pick out a couple of things, because spoiler ahead, and usually you don't do that in a YouTube video because, well, actually all the excitement is out, but there is not really that much new to see in here. However, this is the final version, as they have confirmed a couple of times, and I must admit before we start that the marketing strategy Frontier is focusing on this time around is pretty weird. For a bit of context, I'm working in marketing for over 15 years. I would call myself a professional. I've done pretty great campaigns for the likes of KFC and Miele and even Maserati, so, big ones too, and I am confused, but nevertheless that shouldn't stop us from looking into what they have done. So that was a very quick and there's an unannounced TikTok live stream. I bet they have kind of something, kind of a connection to TikTok or like a deal or whatever, because as you can see, the park in front of us has legit the TikTok logo in the center. And that's the first thing I want to talk about, because creativity and what you can build in this game is key for a lot of people. This is one of the core strengths of the game. And I do strongly believe that they better stick to that, because that's what makes them very strong. And a couple of things I want to mention really quickly is a lot of people were worried that, for example, queues and so on couldn't be done as like kettle pens or something. But to the top right over here, you can already tell there is like a very nice kettle pen queue. Unfortunately, it's not shown how they built this, so we still have to wait and see how that is done. Also, sorry for the quality. This is kind of a download of a download of a download. I just like someone has uploaded this thanks to Mr. SP Ridley, who has actually just told me that there is a live stream happening. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen it. Another thing you can see still again is how the time works. And while my playtest, I was a bit of a, confused because I was focusing on so many things. But just to show you, so this is day one at 10:30 a.m. And once we go through here, you can see I'm skipping through the entire hour of gameplay. So they are in the game, they have played it. And so as you can see, we are starting, just to remember, we are starting at 10:30 and we're going all the way up here to at the end of the stream. You can see we are somewhat at like 3 p.m. So that's just merely 4.5 in-game hours of game in 1 hour game. So that is crazy, okay? That means you have quite a decent amount of time, and I think this is how the whole system will work this time around. Another thing I wanted to quickly pick out, and this is, whoops, where you can see that over here. As I said, I promise I won't go through here, but as this is the final version of the game, you can tell that the final graphics and so on seems to be on, and I'm very positively pleased. I mean, check out the station, check out the shade below that roof, and I think we've never seen it that clear how great the new like ray tracing global illumination works. This just looks fantastic, to be completely honest, because that is just like the one thing we all wanted to have, some more realistic shadows. Yeah, just a lot more contrasty, but that's just how it is. And below the station, it's like very pitch black. They are building, and this is something I really, don't like, but they are building the same coaster that virtually everyone has built during the playtest, because it features all the different ride elements. This is kind of this X-dimension, multi-dimension coaster, which has, I think it does almost have every other element that other coasters will have. So this is the go-to type that you would build if you definitely want to do something crazy. And it still doesn't show us if all these elements are also in other rides. I'm still staying positive. I've seen all of your comments that people are very pessimistic about this, so that this coaster may actually end up being the one that features all these things, and then other coasters don't have it. But I'm staying positive until we know. But yeah, so they're building a coaster. Again, if you want to watch it, the YouTube link I will link down below, so you can check it out where this one is. They have linked it via their channels, and you can check it out. But you can definitely tell that this whole pool area over here, shaped like the TikTok logo, looks very cool. They have like a couple of facilities, changing rooms in the center. Big fan of how it is. And yeah, as I just said, you can see obviously a couple of things. You can see that we can change color of the jumping boards, which is fine. It's like expected, but I think it's one of the first times we can actually see that. We can see there's a launch section over here. You can also see that there is no ride operator at the ride at this point in time. Unfortunately, stations still seem to be the same. And, well, for me personally, I will call it a day. I lost my hope because this is, we're only 2 weeks away. That as much as I would love to have it and as much as I was hyped for it, you got to be realistic at some point. Maybe they planned this for later, I don't know. But the stations, I guess we have to live with them for much longer. Why they don't tackle this, I don't know. But, there seems to be a better reason for that. So, they're building a coaster, and you can really tell that the building of a coaster is pretty neat. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to play and going to speed up the whole thing over here. So you can see the building process a little bit sped up because obviously they take their time. And during this sped up part, almost like a speed build for me, you can see that the builder is pretty much the same as it was when you were playing in Planet Coaster 1, obviously, and I didn't really talk about that in all my other update videos. I briefly touched upon that because I'm not the pro in coaster builders. However, I need to build some coasters at the end of the day. And this is why I am obviously interested in seeing how that works. And in all honesty, I am very happy that we are not changing to node-based or anything. Simply because I have the feeling that this may be overcomplicated. I have a history in trying out to go for, also I'm going to stop over here to speak about the menu in a bit, but I tried to go into no limits and no limits 2, and I kind of, at some point, I just raised the white flag and just like called it a day, because that's not a game, it's a simulator. It was way too complicated, and I'm kind of a nerd, but then again, I'm not enough of a nerd to go that much deeper into it. So yeah, it just kind of, I don't know. I'm very happy that we didn't. For the most people out there, and this shows No Limits 2 is a nerd thing. It's a niche thing, even more niche than this game is niche already. So I do really love the fact. Now you can see, and this is something I really want to talk about, is the UI is. It's not all fixed, but it seems like they fleshed out a couple of things, so I'm very happy about this. You can see now the icons are in 2 rows, which is good, so it's not as cluttered as it was before when it only was 1 row. I'm still very confused to why they have all these things in different separate tabs over here. It just like creates another layer below in a layer that you don't really need, so why don't you just make use of that big window and give us all the items accessible? Now you need to switch, which is always a click more, and coming from also web design in marketing and so on, you want to reduce the clicks as much as possible for the user in the user interface design, and I'm just really not sure why they created so many extra clicks in the UI experience that we didn't have in the past. So that's definitely something I'm a little bit aware of, that, we have to see how that works. But you can see the new smoothing options. This is what we wanted to talk about. So the smoothing strength has a way better factor this time around. So last time around, I think there was not even a strength mode, how strong you wanted to smooth. I may be wrong over here, but I remember that there was the smooth type, it's the same as before, but you can now smooth forward and backwards, which is basically how a mod that was available for Planet Coaster 1 did work, so that it does always take the next piece and leaves out the last piece. So it basically just moves one like one group of, let's say, 4 chosen pieces, and then it goes forward. So you basically just, if you have like a roll, and the roll is made out of let's say 16 elements, just to make sure that it's easier to understand, and you would select 4 of them, the first 4 of them, and you have the smoothing type of smoothing forwards, and you do that, you need to click 5 times to actually go through the old time. Like the first one is going to be the first 4, and then it just kind of moves. And actually, not true. You've got 16 minus 4, and then that means you have 12 left. 13 times you need to click to go one full loop through your 16 elements, and then you could change the smoothing directions to backwards and then go back. And so you've got, oh gosh, there's 26 times you need to smooth that. So better you choose more pieces, because that's something I did also see. And you can also see you can change the different smooth types, which already existed in the old game. So if you just want to smooth the banking, you can do so. You also can see that we have options to do a catwalk and support as in the old game, so nothing too surprising over here. You can see that we have all these different elevator types, turntables, turnstiles, and whatnot. Not turnstiles, but like the rotation platform, that's what I wanted to say. So a couple of these things. Also, by the way, I'm just very confused to what that was on the bottom part of the screen, so hopefully you're not confused from that as well. I thought that was the full screen they are showing us, but that apparently isn't. It's just like the same screenshot all over. But yeah, so you can see they keep on building, doing a roll with a banking offset, as you can see over here. I feel like it's just at 1, the banking offset. Which they will smooth out a little bit at the end, and so it still exists the same issue, I guess. Like you can see that you can still do a lot more, as you can see. That is just so much better. The shaping of the smoothing and the shaping of making the whole coaster look better and smoother really works out as well. You can see that later on in the on-ride. That is a lot. And I'm very happy that they're finally focusing on coaster building. We've seen so many blueprints, better ones and not so great ones, but they all kind of showed that it's all super smooth how they rode, but you never see how they got there. So it's very good to see them actually building a proper coaster. We had that one coaster build at the very beginning of their content showcase, and that was, let's say, a little bit disappointing is not the right word, but it's just very standard, you know. The coaster was a standard coaster that we all knew. It was such a speed build that you couldn't really see what they were doing, and so that was very welcome over here to see that, how they were changing the shaping, and you can see the shaping stays the same even though they go through it, smoothing it. So that's pretty cool. You can see during the test, obviously, the different things. Now you can see it also has an upward drive tire launch, so a lot of crazy things, but let's skip forward and not talk too much about the building, because that is rather expectable, and I have done my work and checked out if there's anything surprising in here. I didn't you know, catch anything, and I haven't seen anything on Reddit appear as of me checking out on a Friday night here, so maybe it was, but if so, I really don't know why I haven't seen it. So maybe on Saturday something appears that I haven't seen, so, you know, we will see that. So let's just quickly jump on the on-ride here a little. Oops, there you go. I just quickly need to check the size again. That was the wrong button, and do that a little bit lower. All these hotkeys, like I've just been playing Planet Zoo a lot, and then you know, using hotkeys in there's always a bit of a hassle. So there you go. This is where they finished the ride. Very tight corner at the end. Anyways, let's have a look how the coaster rides now. And I must say, while we're waiting for the coaster to start, one thing that's just like very personal, but I'm not a big fan of the fact that I had so much content on TikTok and Instagram on the Reels. Like, I'm not a fan of vertical content if it is the sole content. Don't get me wrong, verticals are important and I do them myself, but I always try to make sure that they are derived from actual proper 16:9 video content I do. Like, we're talking about video content for a video game that is 16:9, and yeah, I don't know. I'm really not the biggest fan of the fact that they do so much nowadays. I mean, they lean into what is state of the art, I guess, and where you reach the most people, but would you reach the right people? I would argue that you don't, because that's the audience you'll get there potentially will not have the average attention span to play a game that is so meticulously and so engaging, but also time consuming, like Planet Coasters. But you tell me if I'm wrong. You tell me if you are dragged over here by TikTok, or if you consume all your stuff on TikTok or in the verticals. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm gladly changing my mind if, you know, if the time changes, but I personally don't think so. Again, it's always subjective and just my very personal opinion. But we're halfway through the stream, and you can see they're now going to tackle a couple of smoothing issues with the ride. However, I may say this first ride obviously was already so much better than anything we could have done in the same time in the first game, and specifically Frontier themselves. I remember coasters being built even by Sam Danny and so on, and he knows what he's doing in a way, but they've never been so good in the first game. So very positively surprised by the coaster builder and the features. Now they're building a slide over here, and I'm gonna keep that playing, also speeding up the whole process again to take the time to unfortunately get a bit more negative. So I have neglected the pools a lot because, as I said in the past, and this is part of the truth here, I'm not too much on the hype train when it comes to these things. I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Soaked. I love the fact that we have it. I think it's a great headline feature for a new game. I'm very happy because I think they haven't neglected all the other things. We have great new coaster buildings. We have new elements. We have a lot of new stuff in the game that makes the game itself better, even if you would completely leave out the slides. But now we also do have the slides. But oh my god, are they worrying me. And the reason for that is mostly Sylph's video. I don't know if you've seen that, but judging by the likes and the views of this video, almost everyone who's interested in that game right now has seen the video. And Sylph has some absolutely great points. As I said, I'm not really that much of a slide or a water park nerd, but I've been often enough in these parks, and I've played enough of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Soak. That was my use basically. Yeah, yes, I'm that old, but I have played enough of these games to know that Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 was already pretty damn good. But specifically the ride that they're building right now is the example of why there is a good reason to be concerned. This slide over here is not even it's not about the ride itself, but it's about how it operates. Now, let me showcase what I mean, and this is what Sylph also explained in this video. This is a bottom round tube, and usually what happens is that you sit in there with your inflatable ring or whatever, and you go down the tube, and this part down here is open, it's round. And what Frontier did is they kind of straightened that out so that from the outside it looks like a round tube, but in fact it's just a straight tube, and that is by any means realistic. That, this prohibits, and this kind of makes the whole point of this ride obsolete. The way how it goes into turns, the way how it goes up the side, the way how it behaves in general, like sliding from one side to the other, is actually not working this way if you have a slide like that. But the reason why this isn't a problem in this game is because they don't seem to have actual physics. It seems that everything is meticulously animated, which could be great if the animation is great. But, and this is what I also saw in Sylph's video, and then I checked out some other Frontier stuff about slides in in the past weeks they have dropped, and also what you will see in here. It doesn't really look like as if this is physics based. It looks really like as if it's programmed, and that's not great, because Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 20 years ago did already have physics. You could see that how the people were swinging from left to right. You could see that how the different things went through, like also rings and inflatables went through the cores, and that is very concerning, to say the least, because it looks great. The slides, they look great. The water effects, they have really fleshed that out from the first playtest I've seen to what I'm seeing right now. The graphics and the VFX looks really damn good. Like, they've really done a brilliant job in making that look fantastic. But again, this is what really makes me worried a bit, because, and this is the reason why, it just doesn't feel like the right thing to have, not having it actual physics in the year 2024. This is exactly what I'm saying. It's like, not that you have to do it, but we are living in the year 2024 where some games even have full physics because the AI and the system and whatever can do it, and they're just relying on everything being simulated. And then you go back a step from what you've done in the past already to now animate that, and not sure if that's a decision for console or anything. I'm just very much hoping I'm proven wrong, and this is just like a stage that they will change later on. But yeah, what shall I say? It's a bit of a, it's the one worrying thing. As I said, I've not really looked too much into it in the past, because I am personally, like, it's not that I'm so mega, like, it wouldn't destroy my life if that's not a thing, because I'm happy to have these slides, they look great and so on. But I feel for the people who do, and there are a lot of people who do care deeply for these things. So yeah, so I don't want to spend too much time on that now. You can see they're fixing a couple of things. It's very interesting to listen to that as well, because they're confirming a lot of things. Like when we went back here where they were going through the queue, they did confirm over here that you can build these kind of kettle pen style queues. Again, they've just shown that and not really shown how to build that, just that it's possible. And so, well, I'm happy if it's possible. So there's not really that much to say. And then, obviously making the coaster look good and so on is always fantastic to see. It still is one of these features I'm like still blown away by, the fact that you can do this, that you can make these things like change the coaster trains with scenery items is ridiculous. Auto tunneling is in, as you have seen over here, really quickly happening. This ride you've seen over here, the kids monorail, it's the one that it's not a kids monorail, it's like the smaller monorail type. I've built this in my playtest too, so if you want to see that more in action, I built this there as well. Very nice to see that a lot of these, oh, by the way, here you can see that they're building the queue, but for some odd reasons, they didn't really do a kettle pan over here to show us. So what they were just doing is like putting this here, and I'm like, yeah, why would you do it? Why didn't you just show this to us? I like the fact how the pathing seems to be now really fleshed out. We all knew that this is going to be better, obviously, and like that was like a little, oh wait, there's one thing I didn't see. There was like a very magic connection. Look at that. There's like a little edgy connection happening over here. And as soon as they delete the part, it's gone to round again. So it seems like we have a chance of smoothing again the way we wanted to smooth. Very interesting how it behaves over there. So yeah, very good to see that like the pathing in general seems to be very stable now. It's been already great in the playtest, but it's been not that stable. So yeah, that was that. This is the stream. And as I said, there wasn't really that much news value in terms of seeing stuff, but for me personally, the biggest news value is how it looks. The game, for me personally, has never looked better than now, which is a good thing, because normally a game, sometimes if it has performance issues and so on, towards launch, it's looking less good, which City Skylines 2, for example, happened to have. And so yeah, let's see. My hype level is still going. I want this game now. I need it in my life. I can't wait to start building. I can't wait to show you more. Also, if you're on my Discord, you know now the title song of my upcoming project. So if you're interested, you better join my Discord and check out the Project Zero channel. I've uploaded my sound file of the coming project, which I'm very curious to share with you soon. I'm very soon sharing the logo, so that's going to be fun as well. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching as always. Hopefully that was a good update for you if you haven't seen this live stream. Again, there wasn't too much in it, but maybe my talk has helped enlighten you a little bit of what has been shown. So yeah, I talk to you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of this game, more updates about this game, and obviously more stuff all around Planet games and building games. I talk to you in the next one. Have a good time. Bye.